Check. 1, 2, 2.
The D.
Brief.
This is the D Brief.
Your guide to Detroit.
Your guide to Detroit's
arts and entertainment scene.
This is the D
Brief.
Hello and welcome to the podcast for Detroit concerts, comedy, plays, food, drink, and more. It's Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. I'm your co-host. My name is Seth Ressler.
And I'm Becky Scarsalo.
I am the new guy to Detroit.
And I'm the native.
And here's what we've got on today's show. Starting with this, if you're into UFOs or you're into ghosts, there is a conference coming up for you.
MTV Save the Music just named a grant after a Detroit music legend that I'm going to tell you about.
Hey, Detroit Youth Choir is on quite a roll. I don't know if you saw them on America's Got Talent. I did, because that's one of my guilty pleasures,
jam.
that show, and they were fantastic. Well, they just got another big break. We'll tell you about that as well.
On Friday, Adriel Thornton joins us to talk about Daily in the Alley, which is coming up this weekend.
Look, we talk a lot about the email list and why you should sign up over at our website, thedebriefdetroit.com, because we give you a listing of everything that's going on around town. But there's a new reason. We actually want to take a handful of listeners out for a drink, either for a beer or for a glass of wine, and we're going to send you all the details soon. So if you'd like to come hang out with us, and who wouldn't, really?
I mean, come on. That's a no-brainer.
We're fun people.
Yeah.
Go to the website, thedebriefdetroit.com, sign up for the email list, and we will send you an invitation.
Or just text the word Detroit to 444-999 on your mobile phone. So get in there, get signed up so you can get our invitation to the listener party.
And of course, we want to remind you that we are now producing branded podcasts for Detroit arts and entertainment organizations. So if you're listening to this and you've ever been thinking, hey, those guys can do a podcast, so I can do a podcast.
Right.
We can help with that. Go to MichiganPodcastProductions.com for details. All right, let's get into the show and meet our guest co-host.
This is the D
Detroit
Brief.
All right, today's guest co-host is the founder of Hungry in Detroit. This Instagram feed is on fire.
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
And
yeah.
you can see why when you start looking
Gorgeous
through the
pictures,
photos. I mean, they really are.
mouth-watering stuff.
If you are into food, and I know you are.
Oh my gosh, yes.
This is definitely an Instagram account that you want to follow, and we have Shanley Pearl of Hungry in Detroit here with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you are not a native Detroiter.
I am not.
So you just moved here when? From where? What's your story? What brought you here?
Born in Cleveland,
Ohio?
Ohio. Had to get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
Came into Chicago for about 6 years after college, and then straight to Detroit.
And you've been involved in the food scene. Talk about some of the local companies in the food scene that you've been working with.
Sure. So I've had my own business for about 2 years. Been running the Instagram for about 4 years. So I've worked with the likes of Seven Green Salads, Detroit Optimist Society. So that's like Bad Luck Bar, Right & Co., Sugar House, Honest John's, which is one of my faves, Peterborough, Easter Market Brewing Company, Antietam when they were around.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a short list.
Nice.
Let's talk about some of the food events that are coming up that you're excited. Because I know you're one of these people you're always out. Like if there's a party, you're like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Right.
Right?
Good food, good drinks.
So what's coming up that you're excited about?
I am super excited about the Detroit Food and Wine Festival that's coming to Campus Martius. They come every year. It's happening Saturday, September 14th from 1 to 4. It's just anyone in the restaurant scene is there. You actually have like the chefs from the best restaurants in Detroit handing you samples. It's unlimited samples. I think last year it was unlimited booze too, so which is key.
A day party. Yeah.
It's a really good darty.
Yeah. And you like to focus on all the new and hot restaurants. You want to be first in line to get there. Love it.
Yeah.
So
go early.
If people are following you on Instagram, the account is
Hungry in Detroit.
Hungry in Detroit. That's easy enough to remember. Well, we're glad you're here. Hang out and have a good time.
This is the D.
Detroit
This is the D
Brief.
All right, here's how we start. We always start with Becky doing music news. So what do you got?
Naturally. So I just want to say a big congrats to Lizzo. Everybody's loving Lizzo. She is on fire. Just amazing.
You a Lizzo fan?
I know you are.
Love Lizzo.
I know you are. Yeah.
Body positivity all the way.
Yes, empowering. She just did an amazing performance on the VMAs.
With the big butt.
Yes.
Was I the only one who was sitting there thinking, Mix-a-Lot did this first? Was I the only one?
I mean, technically true, but
I mean, his didn't
in
jiggle.
A much different take on it. Yes, but she had that giant inflatable.
I'm going to debate that. I'm going to contend that if you go back and listen to Baby Got Back is all about body positivity. Now, granted, he's not talking about his own body.
No, but he's like, I like something to hold on to.
I would contend that.
Yeah, I mean, love that song, but it did start to give that whole Becky nomenclature the bad connotation. So
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, it starts out.
Oh, you took it personally. Yeah.
No, I don't take it personally at all. But
That's
now
true.
that's kind of Becky's
Now it's
kind of known
Becky
as like
with
a basic
blonde hair. And,
yeah.
Well,
So, and I don't want to be that, but
I
anyways.
know, and you're doing everything you possibly can to fight that stereotype.
Right. So anyway, Detroit loves Lizzo because she was born here and her family's here. So her first #1 hit on the Billboard 100. Yes, she did it. So hit #1, Truth Hurts is the song. So it is now #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 after being on there for 17 weeks. It's also #1 on iTunes. So congrats to her.
You know, this is a thing that I noticed because I worked in the music industry, is that here it's different than it is in other countries, like in Britain. Like in Britain, when a song enters the chart, it enters at its top position and then falls.
Yes. Okay.
Whereas
Yes.
in America, I think it's because we're so big geographically that it takes radio stations a long time to catch on and see what's working, that songs enter at their lowest position and then
move their way up.
Slowly.
Which to me is kind of more exciting. But
work the way. So when
Yeah.
was the first time you saw Lizzo?
I haven't actually seen Lizzo, but I just follow her on Instagram, and I love her flute.
Is that how you're discovering new music? Is Instagram?
100%.
a lot of people do that way. Yeah.
Knew everything: music, restaurants, clothes.
Yeah. Where people are shopping. Yep.
Nice. You're hardcore.
So-
Just to give you an idea of the generational difference between you and the people that I was hanging out with at my backyard barbecue.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, I just saw this Lizzo on Good Morning America." It's like,
That's
yeah.
great. Yeah. I'm one, like, I get into the streaming services and then like what they recommend, or I look on other people's playlists that
Yeah.
I like and
Spotify?
Yeah. Go from there. But anyways.
I'll wind up on YouTube a fair amount, just kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys follow Lizzo on Instagram?
I do. I have loved her for years. Like back when I thought like, ooh, nobody's heard of this cool singer. And then I would like put on Worship Me and just like walk, and just have the spring in my step and everything. So
Yeah, I'm going to admit something you're not going to like. I'm not the Graham Power user between us here. She's the Graham Power user. Me, I'm the Twitter guy. So, yeah. No.
Well,
I believe it.
Yeah.
you can see it. So, this is really cool. So, Detroit's own Jay Dilla, I mean, one of the most influential hip hop, rappers, producers of all time, really, passed away in 2006. One of our absolute Detroit treasures, worked from Tribe Called Quest, Erykah Badu, De La Soul, Busta Rhymes, Common, Janet Jackson, Macy Gray, like you name it. Just, he is one of those that if you talk to musicians that are in any of those genres, they will bring him up almost like a god, and this is really cool. So MTV Save the Music has named a grant after him, all to help the next generation of students work and have access to doing music production on the computer, electronic and the sampling and all the kind of stuff that's like the wave of how music is really often created. So it's going to be 7 schools benefiting from this big grant called the Jay Dilla Music Tech Grant. Students at high schools in Philly, Brooklyn, LA, New Orleans, Miami, Newark, and, just kind of nurturing that. And I think it's a really cool.
Wait, go through that list again?
I know there's no Detroit, right?
That doesn't seem right.
That's the first thing I thought, like, wait, where's Detroit? Because, yeah, I know. So I'm not sure why that is, but I don't want to hate on it because they're a national organization.
The one thing that does seem cool about Dilla is that now that he's passed away, his name is commonly associated with projects that are educating young kids.
Yes. Oh,
in a way
Dilla
that I
Youth
feel
Day.
right, and I don't feel like that's true of every rapper that passes away or every
that's-
producer that passes
that's
away.
a good point, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I would love it if when I died, my name were associated with that. I just don't want to have to do any of it while I'm alive.
You're like, I don't want to interact with kids.
Right,
or
right now,
go
I
to
want nothing to do with
schools,
them.
but if they want to use my stuff later, I
Yeah,
can.
that's totally fine.
So we talk about that, especially with Mark Stryker last week about, how the importance of music education and mentoring and all that kind of stuff. So I'm all for it. I think it's really cool, but I wish it was also benefiting Detroit. Maybe it will in the future. Maybe they'll expand it. So I have some concert picks, a whole ton of concerts coming up. This Thursday, September 5th, Lenny Kravitz is at the Fox. I can't wait for that one. Friday, September 6th, Shigeto with Black Noise and Pablo R. Ruiz at Deluxe Flux.
Love Shigeto.
I mean, he's so good. So did
So
you
good.
see the set at Movement this year?
I did. It was
Marcus
so
Elliott
good.
was there on the sax. And that, it was so good.
Mind blowing.
So I think in this venue, that's going to be a hot show
It will.
Friday.
I love Deluxe Flux.
Yeah, it's a great place. Kid Rock. Okay. He's got 4 shows coming up at DTE.
Did you see the headline?
Oh, my goodness.
That the Metro Times, I think it was the Metro Times.
I read
wrote
the
this
whole article.
Did you? I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
But the headline was, "Please, Kid Rock, go away after
Just
these
go
4
away.
shows."
Yeah. So this Friday and Saturday, next Friday and Saturday, 4 shows. DTE.
What was it? Was it?
It was just saying, he's almost like Detroit's artist, I think they called him, BS, I should say.
Yes.
Pardon me. Detroit's BS artist. Where he just, is all over the place and so egregious in his comments and, very political. He had that crazy, like, I'm going to run for Senate.
But you know what? We've been having this discussion lately because now there's this thing where people just do something just to get a reaction.
I'm sure there's a lot of
The
it.
biggest debate, I'm friends with a lot of the comedians in the area, and the biggest debate in my Facebook feed in the last week has been over the Dave Chappelle special that just dropped on
Yes.
Netflix. And I would contend, largely the same reason, which is that you sort of feel like Dave Chappelle is saying stuff not because he actually believes what he's saying, but just
To
because
get the reaction
he's trying
and
to get a reaction.
the talking going.
I would contend you see that in certain presidents recently.
Oh.
You see that in Kid Rock. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And
What he
and
said about Taylor Swift.
there's not even about the politics. It's just
Yeah.
about I don't know.
I loved that stand up. I
Did
think
you really?
Chappelle says whatever he wants.
Except I don't think he says whatever he believes. I think he was
know.
saying stuff that he didn't believe in that special just because he knew it would get a reaction.
To be inflammatory.
Doesn't he even say that in the special?
I think he might actually
he says
say
something
that.
about
Yeah.
how he's gonna.
So
Get a reaction.
Inflame, yeah.
This was the big
Sure,
debate
sure,
this
sure.
week was, is this a thing? So I get it.
Yeah, and the article is also pointing out, his homes are either sold or up for sale. Like, that's another thing. Like he played this like I grew up poor and but he didn't.
But
it was
he
like
didn't.
a 5,000
Right.
square foot.
He lives in Bloomfield Hills.
Yeah, and so his childhood home and his home on the water are either up for sale or have sold. So maybe he is getting the heck out of town. I don't know.
Who's going to those concerts?
I don't know. And 4 of
A
them?
lot of people.
Four
There's
of them?
4 of them. A lot of people.
Yeah. One year he did 10
Yeah.
a few years back.
Do they sell out?
Yes.
Think so, or close to it.
A lot of people like Nickelback. It is what it is, man. Creed was a big band.
Yeah, there's all kinds of people. So Friday, September 6th, Social Distortion and Flogging Molly is
So
going to
these
be
are
at
2 of
Freedom
my
Hill.
favorite
I was going to say
bands.
this has Seth all over it.
So Mike Ness of Social Distortion is actually the first person I ever interviewed on the radio. I was so
Ooh,
nervous.
I was going to say you must have been hecka nervous.
Oh, I mispronounced the name of his song. Like it was, he was, because the guy's all tatted up. He's done prison time.
was, like,
It's
intimidating.
intimidating. And then afterwards, he asked, "Where's a good place to go antiquing around here?" I kid you not. That was what he said after the interview.
Oh, sweet.
So, and then Flogging, I just love that Irish punk
Yeah, that's fun.
stuff. That's I love that stuff.
Yeah. Saturday, September 7th, lots of choices. Tyler, the Creator, is at Masonic Temple. He is crazy cool. Jonas Brothers are at Little Caesars Arena. Reba McEntire's at Freedom Hill. So all sorts of stuff. All right, and then my top recommendation for the weekend, this Saturday, September 7th, of course, Daly in the Alley. We'll be talking more about that in our Friday show, but as far as the music goes, it's like a giant free concert all day, all night. I think the first band goes on at 11:15 in the morning. The last band goes on at 10 p.m. Then there's even an after party, Daly in the Dark, I think it's called, in the Belt. So all day long, free, awesome music. A lot of cool artists from all different genres, mainly, local Detroiters.
I've never dallied. Have you?
Highly recommend.
Oh, you've dallied.
Oh, yeah.
See, now
You
I
gotta
feel
do
left
the
out,
dallying.
right?
Yeah.
You've been here, what, 4 years?
Yeah,
me
almost
too.
5.
Yeah, see now.
You're missing.
Now I feel like a race is on.
You got to head.
Yes.
Head.
Talk about a good darty.
That is a great
That's a
darty.
good one.
Nice.
And lots of our friends of the pod will be there. Apropos performing, Lou Fuki and Divide Providence, the Muggs, who we're going to have Tony and Muggs on soon. Lots of just awesome. And like I said, big mix of genres on 3 different stages. And Tuesday, September 10th, Blink 182 with Lil Wayne at DTE. How's that, Bill?
You look like you were a hardcore Blink 182 fan at one point in your
I
life.
was. Studded belt, at knees, black fingernails.
Oh, yeah.
The whole
that
deal.
really takes me back.
You were a scene kid.
Why are they playing together?
Well, I think it kind of makes sense. Their sensibilities.
They've done some.
They've done some
they've
work
done some
together.
work with other
and
hip-hop
then,
artists,
what's his
too.
name? Travis Barker.
Yes.
Yeah, the drummer. He's done tons of collabs with all sorts of hip hop artists.
You ever hear his Transplants project?
Yeah.
That record was a great record.
That was good.
Here's my
So it makes sense.
Here's my claim to fame with Blink 182. We always had to go backstage when I was in radio, and you have to do these interviews with all the bands, and they'd be at Warped Tour. I think it was Warped Tour. Maybe it was one of their big concerts. I
That
remember
seems right.
It was
Yeah,
at a
yeah, yeah.
racetrack, outside of Boston where this concert
Okay.
was, and. The trick to doing these backstage interviews is when you get there at 2:00 in the afternoon, the headliner's never there, right?
Yeah,
You say,
no,
"Oh, I'm here
that's
to
too
work,"
early.
and they're like, "Where's your pass?" And it's always the headliner's job to leave your pass there at the door. They never do. They
Oh,
never
it just
leave.
never
it.
happens.
So you have to pick up a piece of equipment and put it on your shoulder and walk backstage, which works, by the way. That's how you.
I know. You told me that.
Just
you,
pick
you
up an
know,
amp.
I'm just-
Nobody will question you if you're carrying an amp, and you just go backstage. So we would do stuff like this, and it kind of became a game with me and the other station staff whenever we were backstage at a concert. Was let's see how much we can get away with. I remember
Yeah.
getting in and
Without a pass.
Dave Grohl's and the Foo Fighters buffet, and we got to eat at the Foo Fighters buffet. Things like that. The best I ever did was I got a massage from Blink 182's masseuse backstage.
That's so good.
Because you were with the band.
Because I was with the band.
That is great.
Yes.
The Debrief, your guide to Detroit's arts and entertainment scene.
This is the D. Brief.
Brief.
All right, let's do a little check here. UFOs. Are you a believer?
I'm on the fence, I have to say. I'm a believer in there's life on other planets, no question. The world, the universe is just too vast to think and to be so conceited that we would be the only life around. So
Okay.
absolutely believe there's other life.
So that's extraterrestrials.
Well, yes, but
But that's not you. That doesn't necessarily mean that they got in a spaceship and
that's what I
showed
mean.
up
I'm
here.
not sure of their transport or if they visited. I don't know how much I believe of that.
And what about you, Shanley?
Well, UFOs are real, so of course I believe in
Yeah,
them.
what do you mean UFOs? So you think
Yeah.
that they've been here?
And they visited. and-
Yes. And I think we have their spacecrafts, and we're studying them.
Have they? But they haven't visited you.
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right. What about ghosts?
Also on the fence. I believe that there's definitely presence. There's definitely people that have passed that visit, that have an effect on those that have left behind. There's vibrational energy. I have not personally seen a ghost, but I think I don't not believe in them.
Shanley?
I'm in the same boat. I think I believe in spirits still on Earth. Some spirits, for some reason, can't get to where they need to go. But I personally have never seen a ghost. I feel like I have felt spirits, though.
Yeah. See, I'm with you on extraterrestrials. Like, I definitely think there's life elsewhere in the universe.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's intelligent. It might just be
Oh, I think there's got to be
spores
some.
or something. I don't know if it's actually visited here.
Right.
Though that's not the craziest theory I've heard.
It's not.
I mean,
not at all.
ghosts. My girlfriend and I completely disagree about this. She's seen ghosts. She's things like this. I mean, I've had friends. I have a friend who claims she had sex with a ghost.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But I don't. I'm not. I'm pretty skeptical when it comes to this kind of
Okay.
stuff. But if you're into this kind of stuff, there is a brand new conference that's coming. It's the first ever Detroit Disclosure Conference. It's coming to the Tangent Gallery on Sunday, September 8th. And so this is a day-long event. It's got speakers talking about all sorts of topics like UFOs, extraterrestrials, astrology, alternate forms of consciousness, things like that. And I had an opportunity to sit down with Emily Infinity, who is the organizer of this event. And I asked her to tell me a little bit about, I want to know about the UFOs, man.
Yeah, no, that's super
So I asked her to
interesting.
Tell
Yeah.
me about it.
We will be covering UFOs because we have one of our speakers, Bill Konkoleski. He's the Michigan State Director of the MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. That's a worldwide hub of information, and there's a database of all the UFO sightings that have ever been reported. If you ever have a UFO sighting, you can report it there on their website. He is going to be discussing the most significant UFO sightings in Michigan, where there have been multiple witnesses. And there's some historical relevance to some of these sightings. But of course, it's maintained its secrecy. And what he does as a researcher is he finds as many factual-based information as he can to present to us.
I got to tell you, whether you believe or not, whether you're skeptical or not, I totally want to know what the most significant UFO sightings in Michigan history are.
Definitely. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Like, I just...
Yeah, and I feel like it can't just be nothing. Like if there's this much.
I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, there's a national network.
Exactly,
So there's a lot of
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So I would want to know, because I don't know. Do you know what the biggest UFO sighting in
I
Michigan
do not
was?
know.
No.
But I'm definitely intrigued.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
So one of the things that I asked Emily was how she feels about the portrayal of these things in pop culture, because this is something you see in pop culture
All the time.
all the time.
Right.
And I was kind of curious whether she looks at that and she sort of rolls her eyes and says, that's damaging to people who believe in this stuff, or maybe she's like, look, this
Builds
opens people's eyes and
awareness,
builds
yeah.
awareness. And so I was curious what she would say.
Okay, so let's go to the X-Files. I used to always be into X-Files. I thought, what a cool reality would this be if, we had this type of investigative research. Well, I actually met an FBI agent who used paranormal to do investigations. So they have employed remote viewers, channelers, psychics to be able to locate something or tell if something is alive or not. And there's a lot of work at high-level places involving this type of clairvoyance, but they don't tell the rest of us this. So in something like the X-Files, I believe that there are some parallels in the movies and the TV shows with reality, but maybe it's just a way of opening us up to the possibilities rather than telling us flat out how weird this world really is.
I will say I'm also an X-Files fan.
Me too.
Same.
Yeah.
Till it fell apart after the movie, but and once
Yeah,
Mulder
there.
leaves, it's no good. But,
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I also wanted to know how Emily first became interested in these topics. How did she get involved in this world? And she told me that as well.
It was the ghost type of thing. It was a paranormal activity. Living in Detroit, I started to notice some shadows walking around the house in this big old beautiful house that I lived in at the time. And those ghosts had some effects on me and made me realize that there's probably another side. There's probably life after death. There's probably a lot of other things that exist that we're not being told about. So I just, one thing led to another, and I started looking up at the sky. And I also had 3 UFO sightings throughout the course of the past 10 years when I started opening up my mind to all of this, or swallowing the proverbial red pill.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Like how much of it is once you, like she says, opening her mind, but once you're sort of like looking for it, you know?
I don't know. I had that. I mean, look, this is, we're talking about things that some people would call conspiracy theories, and certainly this is stuff that is outside of the mainstream, and I'm as skeptical as they come.
Yes, you are.
I will say this, and especially, you hear a name like Emily Infinity, and you're not, I wasn't sure what I was going to get.
Right.
She struck me as very on the low. She doesn't use her real last name because obviously she's dealing with things that she knows are sensitive, not within the mainstream. She's putting together this conference, frankly, to bring together a bunch of people who have different ideas. And my sense is that she experienced some things at some point in her life which she did not find explanations for through the conventional wisdom, and so she's been
seeking.
Yes, she's been seeking, and I did not get the sense that she takes everything at face value. You know what I mean?
She's an investigator. I mean? She's learning.
She's looking. She's learning, which I thought was. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah.
So
approaching it more from like a studying standpoint, maybe.
So I mean, look, I will tell you, I'm 100% skeptical, but I totally wanted to go.
Well, yeah, I was reading the other speakers, and it's quite a range of people. One that really caught my eye was the topic is cosmic influences on music. So this man, Harry Hovakminian, is speaking. He's a virtuoso violinist. He's speaking about vibrations in music and how the way music influences people. And he's going to play a bunch of songs and kind of like demonstrate that. And he says he will also reveal a mysterious set of musical notes channeled in a revelation that is said to be a code for healing.
See, this is the difference between you and me, because to me that is
craziness.
It's squishy.
Yeah. But not me.
When you're looking at it, what do you think?
I mean, I think people vibrate at like different levels, and I think sound therapy is a real thing.
I do too.
Like I've been in gong circles before, and you come out of that gong circle and you are in a different reality. Like it's pretty crazy.
I did some sound therapies too. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
It
right?
is. Where I'm skeptical going in, and I don't really know how it happens or why it works, but it's compelling.
Like you're disoriented when you come out. It's very, you should go on one.
See, I'm much more inclined to believe that Mr. Spock developed light speed and, has come to visit us.
See, we all have our different approaches and things that attract us.
I agree. And that's one of the things I like about this conference is that it's got a little bit of all that. So anyway, you can find the full the schedule for the event at DetroitDisclosure.com. You can also hear my entire conversation with Emily. It's going to be in our mobile app, so you can go download that and you can check it out.
The Debrief. The Debrief.
All right, let's talk about some of the things that are happening around town. Starting with this, Detroit Youth Choir. They are on a roll. Last week,
I love them.
Yeah, they're cute. Have you seen the America's Got Talent performance?
I haven't, but I've
YouTube it.
Heard a lot about it.
You should. It's well worth it.
It's moving, if for no other reason than Terry Crews cries.
Oh my God. But these kids work hard, and the director is amazing. Gosh.
So they went in, they auditioned earlier in the season, and Terry Crews, who's the host, he's from Flint, actually. Yes. And he, they all get a golden buzzer where they can automatically advance somebody to the live rounds, and that was Terry Crews' golden buzzer. Last week, they actually moved on to the next round of America's Got Talent after performing The Champion by Carrie Underwood. And then this just happened, big news. Now they're also going to be performing the halftime show at the Lions home opener against the LA Chargers on September 15th.
That's wonderful.
So if you haven't seen them live, it's a pretty good opportunity to go check them out. But seriously, I'm dead serious. Like, I mean, this is my...
You love it, but no, it's incredible, and it's one of those you're like, okay, what's happening now? And then they start performing. You're like, oh my God!
Do you watch any reality TV?
No.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah, I don't
I will
either.
say I don't like the destructive reality TV where it's
Yeah.
like, but
stunts and stuff.
the two that I like are America's Got Talent. They're the summertime ones. The America's Got Talent and So You Think You Can
Oh,
Dance.
I do like that. I did buy tickets for the live show because it's going to
So
be
You Think You Can
yeah,
Dance?
Relic
Oh,
Music
I'm
Theater
jealous.
this November. Yeah,
Yeah, so-
I do love the dance.
Hey, there is a mural that celebrates Yemeni culture in Hamtramck, and it is in danger. According to the Metro Times, the mural on Joseph Campow was commissioned for over $20,000, painted by an artist named Desik Fernandez. But the owner of the lot next door wants to put up a 2-story building that, of course, is going to block the mural. So there's a petition to save it, change.org. And if you want to go save it, we'll put a link over on our
Yeah,
on our notes for this
it does.
episode.
Bring up an interesting point because street art by its nature is not permanent. And just like the murals in the market, every year there's a few that get painted over and a new mural comes, and that's just kind of how it is. But this just seems like. Could you think of something else? Like, is there a different way to?
Well, I mean, how hard
is?
is? I mean, it's got to be pretty hard to preserve.
They are
a mural.
They are, and you freshen them
To
up,
mo-
or you
but-
put a
but to
sealant.
move
But
them-
you can't. Yeah, moving it is nearly impossible when it's on a building.
You guys
so.
think these change.org petitions do anything?
Hit or miss. I do sign a lot of them.
I do too. And I get the emails like, you need to sign this.
Yeah.
What's the last one you signed? The whales are almost saved, right?
Right.
That's the thing. Like, I have to be honest. Like, you get updates, but I'm not sure
You're not even
percentage
sure, right,
wise
yes.
how many actually.
No, but your Kickstarter project, you know exactly what's going on with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, Russell Industrial Center had a huge one that I think a bunch of people signed, and there's still artists working in there.
Yeah.
So I guess that one worked.
I don't know because it's still an unsafe situation.
Well, it also feels like there has to be it depends on who you're petitioning.
Right.
Oh,
you know.
sure. Yeah.
All right, here's some other things going on around town. Pewabic Pottery. I know you used to work there.
I did, yeah.
You've been
Love it. I'm an East Sider, so I love it.
nice.
Yep.
Well, there's a good opportunity if you haven't checked it out before. There is craft beer and craftsmanship happening at Pewabic Pottery. You get to drink in the renovated courtyard. I haven't seen the courtyard
It's
since
pretty.
they renovated
It's
it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Is it
it's
really?
pretty.
I know that they were working on it. I haven't seen
Nice
it since it's
space.
been done. And you can hang out with the design team as well. Local comedian Norm Stoltz. This is a guy who's been doing it for a long time. He started at the Comedy Castle in 1981. And he is known as Detroit's premier storyteller among comedians. He's going to be headlining this weekend. Also this weekend, you've got the Old Car Festival that's happening over at Greenfield Village. Either of you have old cars?
I don't.
I do not.
What you driving?
Oh, Ford Jeep Cherokee. Is that old
that
enough?
might count. That might count.
I always have lease cars coming and going.
My windshield cracked over the weekend. I was driving out to one night stands in Waterford, and
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, just this little
yeah,
ding to
it
when that
doesn't take
happens.
much.
And then the next day, like I was like, oh, it's fine, it's nothing.
oh
But
no,
the next day,
yeah,
You've got to go get that filled in
I
ASAP.
do.
right
Yeah.
away, right away.
Can I just do it with super glue, or how does it work?
No.
Usually insurance will cover you a replacement.
After your deductible.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but sometimes it's lesser for that.
Tuesday, September 10th. That's next week. Welcome to Night Vale, the podcast. This is the fiction podcast, very popular. They're going to be performing live at the Fillmore. Cats is at the Fisher Theater through the 15th. And then, of course, September is Detroit's annual month of design. That's going to culminate. I mean, there's
Tons
like
of events.
tons and tons of events around this. So you got to go to the website to find out everything that's going on. But it's going to culminate in a celebration of the winners of the city's first annual design competition. That's going to happen in Beacon Park on the 29th, and you'll be able to see prototypes of the winning designs on display in the park, so you can see what actually won them.
That'll be really cool.
Yeah, I think they won $20,000 each team to do this stuff. So go check that out.
This is the D.
Detroit.
This is the D.
Brave.
That's it, Shanley. That's the show. Pretty easy,
huh?
right?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yes.
Well, the first one.
That's the
but
first-
I
well,
hope
we'll
you'll
have you
come
back
back tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah, you hope,
Yeah.
Okay,
hope you'll come
great.
back.
So this is your first podcast, right?
It is,
It's not
yes.
that hard.
No.
No.
Hey, a couple things we got to mention before we get out of here. First of all, we've got a mobile app. Go download it. There's all sorts of bonus content in there, including that interview with Emily Infinity, which you want to go check out.
Let's hear the whole thing. Yep. Or you can listen to us on your Amazon Echo. Just say, Alexa, enable the Debrief podcast.
On Friday's episode, we are are going to talk to Adriel Thornton. He is one of the organizers of Dally in the Alley, this big event that's been going on for 42 years in Cass
42
Quarter.
years, yeah.
Talk
He
to him about
promotes all
that.
kinds of cool events too.
Let's give a couple shout outs. This is something that we always like to do at the end of every show. Just shout out something local. Becky, let's start with you.
So I love this story. I just wanted to shout out Detroit Public Library. So all 22 Detroit locations of the library, as of September 1st, no more overdue fines. They're eliminating
That's
fines
amazing.
for late materials.
Say who's doing this?
Detroit Public Library.
So you can just keep the book for forever?
Well, no. So you don't have to pay any fines for being overdue, but you have to return your overdue items before you can check out new items. So in theory,
So you can.
You can, but you just can't check out anything
Do you have
else.
overdue library books? Were you
Not
good
anymore.
about that? Yeah, right?
I used to.
You're
have a
missing
problem with
library
that.
books now.
And it's like 5 cents a day or 25 cents, and here's the thing, like last year they only made like $30,000 off of overdue fines, which they said was 0.1% of their budget.
Oh, wow.
So just as a way to increase friendliness, accessibility, hey, we're not going to charge you any money, but yes, we would like you to return the things.
There's that magic point at which, your mistaken belief that you're actually going to finish the book gets outweighed
Yes.
by the amount of money that you owe,
Yeah.
which is really about $6.43 for me.
Right.
Where I'm like, nah, I'm never really going to
I'm
finish
not
that.
gonna just turn it in. Yeah. So, but I think that's cool. It's a good gesture.
What about you, Shanley? Anybody you want to shout out?
My shout out is to Eastern Market Brewing Co.
Friends of the podcast.
We love them.
I've worked with them in the past. They're amazing. And Dane, the founder, just got Crane's 40 Under 40.
Saw that.
Nice.
Yay,
And that is
Dane.
just the coolest thing ever. And I love their beer and I love their philanthropic take on everything.
Yes.
And they're just good
folks.
people.
Good
Yeah.
They are.
folks.
They're so easy to work with. We did our first live podcast over there.
You
And
did?
they were great to work
Okay.
with.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
us.
Cool.
And when I do the tours in Eastern Market, if Dane's around, he always speaks to my groups and is just so informative and friendly and just a great community business.
Now,
Yeah.
when are they opening the second floor? Like, what's going on?
Oh,
with
I
that? Do we
think
know?
they're pretty far out.
I think it's
from that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
They
gonna
still
be
gonna
just
be a
got
while.
the grant for it. So,
Okay. So it's
yeah.
still going to be a while.
But they're doing the side project as well. So it's going to go all the way over to Winder. And then there's like a little pickup, take out beer can window.
okay.
Yeah.
But no plans for a kitchen yet. You still got to go to the food truck in
food-wise?
the alley, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good food truck.
Well, kitchen, maybe.
Down the
Down
road,
the road.
maybe.
Yeah.
But I think they want to do like the rooftop before they.
that rooftop looks
that.
cool.
I know.
It's going to be
cool.
really cool.
Bigger
Yeah.
footprint. Yeah.
All right, I want to give a shout out as well. This is to the organizers who are putting together the Motor City Comedy Festival, which is coming back. I think this is the third year.
That sounds right.
And you guys know how hard it is to get an event up and off the ground.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
And let me tell you something, organizing comedians is like herding cats. It's not...
Yeah. They're not naturally, logistically
no, they're not
on it.
logistically inclined.
Yeah.
But the event is happening September 19th through the 22nd, and there's a couple of people putting a lot of hard work into it, including Lauren Uhalik and Kyle Forsyth and Esther Navarez and Kara and Megan and everybody over at the Motor City Comedy Festival. If you want to go to this event, and again, this is another one of those events where there's multiple shows that you can choose from, including national headliners and some showcases from a lot of great local comedians. All those details are over at MotorCityComedyFest.com.
And I might mention they also always have a really cool T-shirt.
Yes,
I'm
they
sure
do.
they're
The
really
artwork's
cool. Oh,
amazing.
it's super cool.
Yeah, the artwork's really cool. Hey, look, thanks to Emily Infinity for talking to us about the Detroit Disclosure Conference. It's happening at the Tangent Gallery on Sunday. And thank you to you, Shanley.
Thanks for
coming
having me.
Yeah.
Once again, if people want to follow you on Instagram,
Hungry in Detroit.
that's pretty easy to remember.
I'm hungry right now.
Yeah,
Me too.
that's pretty much describes me all the time.
Right.
All right, we'll have you back again tomorrow. Until then, Detroit's moving.
Keep up.
The Debrief.
Your guide to Detroit's arts and entertainment scene.
Hi, Craig Foley here. If you're listening to the Debrief podcast, well, I've got two things to say to you. One, you have impeccable taste. Two, you care about the community that is Metro Detroit. That's why I think you'd appreciate my daily show, The Craig Foley Show on Deadline Detroit. Every weekday, I tackle the big issues in politics, business, arts and culture, sports. Whatever's on the mind of Detroiters and Michiganders, we will talk about it. It's all open for discussion. And keep this in mind. news doesn't have to be boring. Sure, we talk about serious stories and we have interviews and commentary, but we do it in a way that, if I'm doing my job right, is informative but also entertaining. Check out The Craig Foley Show on Deadline Detroit for news, knowledge, hopefully some fun tossed in.
Interested in hearing from folks in the craft beer industry? Tune in monthly to the Beer Tour Guy podcast. I'm your host, Steve Johnson, and I'm the owner-operator of Motor City Brew Tours. And since 2009, I've taken 25,000 people to enjoy the best beer, cider, and mead being made in Southeast Michigan and beyond. On the Beer Tour Guy podcast, monthly I interview folks working in the industry where you can learn more about what's going on in the industry and in other tours that I'm offering in my tour company. If you'd like to learn more about our show, Beer Tour Guy, or Motor City Brew Tours, visit motorcitybrewtours.com.
Hello, Debrief listeners. My name is Michael Dupree, host of the Michael Dupree Variety Hour, a Planet Ant Podcasts podcast. The Michael Dupree Variety Hour is an art showcase and comedy show where we feature local musicians, painters, poets, artists, sculptors, directors, writers, improvisers, and more. Stop by and discover your new favorite artist, meet some outrageous characters, and revel in ridiculous sketches. The Michael Dupree Variety Hour, the world's only mandatory podcast.
Planet Ant Theater, now doing podcasts. Check us out at planetantpodcasts.com.